So I started with this large 14-gallon pot I got from Walmart. I think it was $17 or something like that. And then obviously added water conditioner and whatnot, and I got a bunch of smooth stones from the bottom just from a stream. I had just an old piece of wood, so I actually cut the top out of it and added it to here. It actually fell in once, so I screwed on these little L brackets on the side so that wouldn't happen. And then this is actually some foam here, like a sheet of foam that I glued down to the bottom of the piece of wood, and then I drilled a couple holes in the wood and in the foam, and then just used hot glue just to go around it so that the water, when I water the plants, actually comes out the bottom here. But the plants actually have some thin filters underneath them so that the dirt doesn't come through and stuff like that. And so I actually just water the plants with the water from in here. There's a filter on the back for it, and so it just comes out underneath. It's hard to see probably. And then the rest of the stuff I just got from outside, like this I found and thought was really nice. This is a pothos that I actually cut off from the end of here, and then it started growing roots. I just stuck in some water, and then so for that to go over the side. And then the plants, somebody gave me a couple of these out of their fish tank. I just cut off the leaves because they had like a lot of snails on them, and I'm just waiting for them to grow back. And this is just, I'm just acclimating this right now. I'm not actually even sure what it is, but it was just growing underwater in a ditch, so cleaned it off, and hopefully that will work in there. And then I got some moss growing in some of the rocks here and along the bottom, and then this is just some bark and some sticks and stuff that I glued on here. These are just some plants. Like this was just growing along the side of the road, and I thought it looked really neat, so I added that. And then same with this. This is just a weed, but it grows great. So there's just some moss along here and some interesting looking sticks and stuff like that. This is some moss that was growing on a stick here, and then the rocks I just found actually on the side of the road, and I connected a pump underneath. So if I just plug that in, it'll actually have a bit of a waterfall to it. So that's for helping with humidity, and then aeration, because eventually I do want to put fish in here. It's just cycling right now. Looking to put in some really vibrant, like orange, yellow, red platies, and then maybe some rummy nose tetra. I was gonna get a small heater for it because this room does actually get down to about 16 degrees, so it gets a little bit chilly. Yeah, and that's about it. I stuck a little piece of something underneath the edge of the filter so it sits straight, because since this is obviously on an angle, it didn't sit quite straight, so I just put something underneath to hold it upright. And so far so good. Everything's looking really good. The nitrites are down to 0, as well as the ammonia levels, and the nitrates are up at around 20, so pH I think is 6.8 at the moment, so usually my tanks sit around 7.2 or so, so that's a little bit lower than I'm used to, but hopefully when I get it set up, I can maybe add some shrimp to it here. I got a little nano tank going on here. I'm not sure if you can see any at the moment. There's probably some sitting up there. I got some cherry shrimp in here that I'm hoping to add. I cut this Amazon sword plant in half at the bottom, and it actually started growing. It's kind of hard to see, but it started growing a new leaf at the bottom, so that seemed to work. So I might be able to add a piece of that. This moss ball is, oh, it's hard to see. Back there is pretty huge. So you can actually take pieces off of that, and that would be kind of cool to add on the bottom and actually open it so it's not a moss ball, and it's actually just flat moss, and then it can grow along the bottom. And hoping when I open up this Anubias that it's got a bunch of plants in there, and I was hoping to put a bunch of those in the bottom as well. And yeah, so hopefully set that up. I might put in, I got like bamboo and stuff growing in here. That might be kind of cool to stick in. I was thinking of, I have a peace lily here as well. That would be really neat to have some lilies grow up the back. And I just ordered online, I think a dwarf lily, I think it is. So I'm hoping to plant that in here, and the leaves will grow up to the top and it'll flower. I can't quite remember what variety. I haven't dealt with lilies before, so I guess we'll see how that goes. And yeah, this is actually flowering out the top, which is kind of neat. When I first put this in, it actually flowered purple flowers. I don't know the actual names of the plants. There's also a little fern in here because it doesn't get a ton of light. And then I'm hoping to install underneath the bottom of this piece of wood, I was going to get some waterproof LEDs and just do like a curved piece of aluminum underneath and run the LEDs underneath there so that it illuminates it, or some lights in the bottom might be kind of neat, or even little miniature like pond lamps on the side, because it looks really cool if you walk in here at night and it's kind of like lit up with the lights off. So just some ideas, and I guess we'll see how it goes.